Europe was caught off guard by the recent steps from the United States. Just when they thought the storm had passed, the United States has signaled that it is preparing to strike again, this time with tariffs that threaten Europe's delicate economic stability. What appeared to be the beginnings of a routine trade conflict might quickly escalate into something far greater, and Europe is feeling the strain in ways it never imagined. So, how did we get here? And why is Europe so unprepared for this type of battle? It's all part of a larger scheme. Trump's tariffs were not isolated instances. They were a deliberate effort, a cornerstone of his America First policy. While many people believe the tactic will fade, new findings indicate otherwise. Far from withdrawing, Trump has hinted at further tariffs that may target Europe's most sensitive industries if he comes to power. These planned taxes are casting a shadow over Europe's economic future, affecting everything from vehicles to luxury products, steel to wine exports. The car industry is expected to be among the first to feel the impact. With anticipated taxes on auto exports to the United States, manufacturers in Germany, France, and Italy are already bracing for the effect. The figures do not lie. Car sales might collapse, putting the survival of great European businesses at danger. However, the tariffs' reach extends beyond autos. The stakes are bigger than it appears. The European wine business is in trouble, notably in France and Italy. The United States is one of Europe's main wine markets, and if Trump's planned tariffs go into effect, they may severely damage this vital sector. French vineyards, who rely primarily on American demand, are warily eyeing the future. Exports to the United States might suffer a significant impact, highlighting Europe's vulnerability. Beyond specific industries, the specter of tariffs is upsetting Europe's economic engine. The European Central Bank, ECB, is under new pressure to preserve stability in the face of impending instability. With Europe already coping with poor economic growth, low inflation, and rising domestic turmoil, the prospect of a new trade war threatens to deepen Europe's uncertainties. The prospective impact of Trump's tariff measures on Europe is not only economic, it is also political. Europe is attempting to find out how to respond to a U.S. administration that shows no indications of relenting. While European leaders may openly support free trade and diplomatic solutions, privately there is rising worry. Europe's incapacity to prepare for Trump's potential measures has become obvious. This is an economic struggle that will need more than mere political posturing. The truth is that Europe is not properly prepared for the scope and ferocity of this prospective economic war. Following years of economic integration and collaboration, the European Union is now battling to remain together. As the danger of U.S. tariffs grows, internal divides inside the EU become more obvious. Countries such as France, Italy, and Germany are facing their own difficulties. France is witnessing major riots, Italy is dealing with debt, and Germany is experiencing an economic slump. These issues taken together make it more difficult for Europe to respond cohesively. But the consequences might extend beyond economics and politics. A fresh trade war may result in widespread upheaval. Europe's inhabitants, who are already experiencing high unemployment rates in certain areas, are becoming concerned about what is to come. In Italy, for example, workers in the manufacturing and agricultural sectors are watching as their jobs and livelihoods are threatened. At the core of Europe's issues is its capacity to adapt to foreign shocks. The EU has long been considered as a model of economic unification, with the assumption that by banding together, the continent can weather any storm. But now, the entire concept of togetherness is being questioned. The Franco-German Axis, which has historically been the driving force behind the European Union, is exhibiting symptoms of strain. This partnership's leadership has weakened over time. France is engulfed in its own internal instability. Protests, and political uncertainty are undermining its commitment. Germany, historically Europe's economic powerhouse, is experiencing slower industrial output and more political pressure. Together, these two states are no longer the unbreakable pillars they once were, leaving Europe's response to these difficulties fragmented. This widening split is placing enormous strain on the European Central Bank, ECB, which is trapped between attempting to manage Europe's economic decline and responding to anticipated global pressures such as new U.S. tariffs. The ECB's alternatives are getting more constrained. With interest rates already at record lows, the bank has few instruments to boost growth or safeguard European sectors from the consequences of a fresh trade war. However, the issues extend beyond only economic pressure. The widening split between European states raises concerns about the survival of the European Union. Can Europe remain together if its members are unable to agree on how to address external threats? Or will this fracture progress to something more permanent? This isn't only about European economic health. The prospect of fresh U.S. tariffs is part of a much wider global game. The issue is, why is Europe being targeted so aggressively? The evolving geopolitical scene provides one possible solution. Trump's trade policies are a clear indication that America intends to establish its economic supremacy not only against Europe, but internationally. With China emerging as an economic giant, the United States is prepared to use its economic might to attack any nation or territory it perceives as a rival. The prospective taxes on European goods are part of a larger attempt to change the global balance of power. The world is changing, and Europe is ensnared in a trade war that it did not foresee. It is no longer simply about trading partners. It's all about controlling global markets, supply lines, and geopolitical power. Europe has been slow to respond. Its reliance on the United States and China as key commercial partners has made it vulnerable to these exogenous shocks. While the United States concentrates on its economic battle with China, Europe is still working out how to guarantee its place in the new global order. So how can Europe respond? The reality is, there are no simple solutions. Europe must reconsider its attitude to international commerce, economic policy, and internal cohesion. First, Europe needs to confront its own divides. The European Union cannot afford to be split at this moment. Internal political instability, such as the riots in France and the political deadlock in Italy, must be addressed if Europe is to face up to foreign pressures. A coordinated reaction, rather than individual countries handling it alone, is critical. Second, Europe must broaden its trading partnerships. The EU's reliance on the United States and China has made it vulnerable. By establishing new trade agreements with emerging economies, Europe may lessen its risk while also creating new economic prospects. Finally, Europe must increase its economic resilience. Investing in businesses such as green energy, advanced manufacturing, and digital innovation will be critical. These industries can assist to protect Europe from global economic turbulence. Europe is confronting a critical issue. The fear of Trump's proposed tariffs is more than just an economic barrier. It indicates that the world order is evolving. Europe's ability to adapt, unify, and innovate will decide whether it thrives or falters. The choices made now will shape Europe's economic future, political stability, and role on the world stage. This isn't just a test of resilience, it's an opportunity to forge a stronger, more independent Europe. The time for decisive action is now. What do you think? Can Europe overcome these challenges, or are we looking at a deeper crisis ahead? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next one.